Greetings, everybody. Richard Fulmer here, and welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles here on a very cold, very wet winter's day in Cape Town. Hence me being dressed up like the abominable snowman. Yeah, it's pretty cold here today. But nevertheless, not cold enough for me not to do a video about some good rock music. So what we're going to do is carry on looking at my box sets. And this time around, we're going to look at Pink Floyd. And they released a box set in the year 2000 called Is There Anybody Out There? The Wall Live Pink Floyd 1980 to 81. In fact, this concert was from Earl's Court in London, in England. And that's what it looks like. This is the limited edition one. So I'm not sure if this is still available. If you need this now, if you wanted to get this now, I would imagine you'd have to get it secondhand. Discogs or one of those places might have a copy. But this is a really great album. At their peak for this tour, I think. The Wall. There were a couple of issues within the band, especially with Richard Wright, who felt he was being pushed to one side by Roger Waters. Roger Waters saying that he didn't contribute much in the songwriting department. Well, you know, Roger's always entitled to his opinion, and he's never short of those. So, yeah, that's the cover, the front cover there. So there's Roger Waters. These are like face masks or death masks, whatever you want to call them. That's David Gilmour, Nick Mason, and right at the bottom there's Richard Wright. And then at the back you have the same scenario, just that the faces look a little duller. I don't know if that's supposed to be the dead side of things. Yeah, so anyway, that's the box, and then the disc comes out like this. It's a double disc, and I'll tell you in a sec what's on here. But this is really, really nice packaging. That's where the first disc comes out of, and there you got a couple of pictures of live pictures, and at the back is the other disc. Only thing I don't like about that is every time you take the disc out or you put it back in, it's you know, there's a chance of it getting scratched against the back here. But anyway, you just got to be careful, I guess. And there's a picture of the four guys. So let me show you some of the other photographs that are inside here. There we go. There's the masks again, and there's a live shot. There's some really great photography in here. Then it gives you all the tracks. Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, David Gilmour, Nick Mason, and Richard Wright. Richard Wright keyboardist, Nick Mason drums. David Gilmour guitar and Roger Waters. David Gilmour guitar and vocals. Richard Wright also did vocals. Roger Waters bass and vocals. Pretty much the classic Pink Floyd lineup. And then there were some guests on here as well. Andy Bowen on bass. Snowy White on guitar, and he was with him in 1980, and Andy Roberts on guitar in 1981, Willie Wilson on drums, and Peter Woods on keyboard, so they had some extra members as well. So this was the whole shebang. They built the wall up. Second half of the show, they take the wall down. Roger Waters' concept, all about the alienation with the audience and the band and the whole 9 yards, and of course him going on about his dad dying in the Second World War. That was also a major part of the whole wall. All words and music by Roger Waters except Young Lust, which is Waters and Gilmour. Comfortably Numb, Gilmour and Waters. Run Like Hell, Gilmour and Waters. And The Trial, Roger Waters and Bob Ezrin. So yeah, there we go. Those are all the tracks there. I'll get back to that in a second. There's a shot of the crowd there. There's Roger Waters with his bass, a really good bass player, besides having a unique vocal style as well. So what they've done here is each member of the band gives his rundown of how things went and what he thought of them and the concerts and what have you. So there's David Gilmour. There's another shot of Roger Waters playing an acoustic. And that's actually Snowy White there playing the guitar. I'm not too sure the other guy is, with a sort of face paint on. Here's a great shot of the crowd. That's the stage over there, Earl's Court. There's one of those large puppets that they use. You also see that in the movie. stage shot there. And that's the wall. Oh, sorry. So that would have been in the second half of the show as the wall was coming down again after it had been built up. And there's that massive puppet there that's supposed to be Mother at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that there. What else is here? Some great shots in here. Roger Waters and David Gilmour and Richard Wright at the bottom there. There's Richard Wright there. And there's a shot from the movie. Animation, Gerald Scarf's animation. There's a great shot of Roger Waters giving it stick. So this is there's a nice shot of the stage and the audience. Must have been quite. I mean, for 1980, this was quite a show. You know, obviously by today's standards, this is probably a bit primitive, but then, I mean, this must have been quite mind-blowing. There's another shot of the four guys: Nick Mason, Roger Waters, David Gilmour, Richard Wright. And there's another shot of the audience. I think this is the intermission. So with this live concert, you actually get the whole intermission, and there's a whole lot of crowd announcements and what have you. So let's see if I can... There's Roger Waters coming out of the wall there. You see that? Classic stuff. There we go. With this limited edition, I don't think... There was a double disc edition released, I think in 2012, with part of the Wall's immersion box set, but it didn't have all these photographs in it. It was just basically the two discs. And what's really cool here is you get sort of stencils or the actual planning of how the stage was going to look, the architect's drawing and what have you. Really interesting to read about that. Tells you all about that. There's some more pencil drawings there. How they got to build the stage and whose idea it was and everything. There we go. And that's pretty much it, I think. There's Roger Waters and David Gilmour at the back wearing their uniforms, which were part of the second half of the show. So let's go through the tracks. I mean, if you know the Wall, you pretty much know all these tracks. On disc 1, you got the guy, Master of Ceremonies, Atmos. Excuse me, I just want to have a sip of some Obies. And if you're not from South Africa, you might not know what Obies is. It stands in South Africa for Old Brown Sherry. Really good stuff. Essential for winter, keeps you warm. South Africa's version of antifreeze. Cheers. So then you get In the Flesh, The Thin Ice, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, The Happiest Days of Our Lives, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, which of course was that big hit, was a single that was released by the band. Mother, Goodbye, Blue Sky, Empty Spaces, What Shall We Do Now, Young Lust, which has got that heavy rocking track. I really dig that track. Out of the whole of the Wall, I think that's my favorite track. One of My Turns, Don't Leave Me Now, Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, The Last Few Bricks, and Goodbye Cruel World. So that would have been the first half of the show. Then you got the intermission, and then it was Hey You, Is There Anybody Out There, Nobody Home, Vera, Bring the Boys Back Home, Comfortably Numb. Of course, that's the one with the great guitar solo from David Gilmour, and Snowy White would have been the other guitarist here. The Show Must Go On. Then you got the Master of Ceremonies again, Atmos. And then In the Flesh, Run Like Hell, Waiting for the Worms, Stop, The Trial, and Outside the Wall. So that's the whole show. It must have been amazing. I would love to have been at one of these shows. So there we go, the limited edition Pink Floyd. Is There Anybody Out There? The Wall Live, 1980 to 81. And that just slides back in there. Like I've shown you, some great photographs. The recordings of this is really well done. James Guthrie was the guy that produced this. I just want to see if I've got that right. It does say at the back here. Yeah, Gerald Scarf was the designer. James Guthrie, sound mixing. Written and directed by Roger Waters. So of course, this concert and the movie and everything else sort of tied in with the original album that was released, The Wall. And that was after Animals. That was the album before The Wall. Great piece of history there. If you're a serious collector of Pink Floyd, there might be something you want to check out, try and get hold of. Like I said, it's probably available at one of the second-hand sites, or perhaps even on Amazon. Might still be able to get a copy. But being a limited edition, they probably only printed so many. There we go, guys. Take it easy. Hopefully it warms up here, although there's more rain forecast for tomorrow. Make sure I've got enough supply of the Obies. Oh, there's my new cat. Just going to check out my CDs, see if everything's okay. That's Maya. She hasn't been with us for that long, so she's still checking the place out. And yeah, hope you guys have a great week. Take it easy, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.